Hello everybody, welcome out to the Dice Tower. My name is Chris Yee.
I'm Z Garcia.
Today we're taking a look at Conservas. This is from Salt and Pepper Games, designed from Scott Alms, a solo-only game about fish canning.
That's right. The bright and fascinating world of fish cannery.
But also, not chicanery, fish cannery.
Yeah.
Also a little bit, though, about, maybe it's a play on words, right? You're doing preserved food. It's called Conservas, right?
Right.
But you're also trying to conserve the environment, not overfish and everything. So it's kind of a balance between those two things.
And the other shoe drops. Now I get it.
All right. Well, this is a game that I will show you how to play, and then we'll give you our thoughts. Here's Conservas set up on the table. This is a bit of a bag building and bag maintenance game. The idea is that you have a central book here which will give you the objectives that you're playing for in the scenario that you're playing with, 12 months of the year. So January is going to be the easiest scenario, and then the later ones are going to have more difficulty, add more types of fish and catch, introduce new mechanisms and rules. So in this case of January, it'll show you what the setup is. You start with 10 of the currency, you'll start with 5 scallops, and 5 sardines plus 10 water tokens in the bag. The water tokens do nothing, whereas the other ones are the types of catches that you're trying to keep in your boats, sell to the market for money, or to spend over here for upgrades. These are additional boats that you can buy. There are 3 phases to each game. There is going to be an at-sea phase where you'll do fishing. There's an on-land phase where whatever you catch, you can sell or spend for upgrades. And then there's the end of the day where you will be spawning new fish out in the ocean, as well as paying the upkeep cost on the boats that are in your fleet. These ones aren't purchased yet. These are upgrades you can get. So what do you do at the start of the day? Based on the number of cards that you have in front of you, this open water counts as 1 card, and each boat in your fleet counts as 1. You're going to pull 5 tokens out from the bag. When you pull out the 5 tokens, you will look and see what you've caught. So I could potentially hold on to 3 of these in this boat, and then 2 tokens will go into the bottom part here, and that will be in the water, thrown back into the ocean, and the open water card counts as all in the open water. So why are you going to choose to sometimes catch things and sometimes not? Well, that really depends on what you have pulled out of your bag. So on my second pull, I get to do it twice because I have 2 cards. I look at this here, and I can choose to hold on to 3 tokens because that's the storage limit of this boat, and then 2 get thrown back into the ocean. Now I move to the at-land phase of the game, where I can either take these that I've caught in the top part of my boat card and turn them into conservas, or canned goods, and I can sell them for money. This is how you're going to make more money in the game that you can spend, obviously for boats, but also because you need to hit this target amount. After you've done that, you can spend these as well for upgrade cards. So maybe I want to have this upgrade over here that's going to allow me to sell, for example, this type of item. I can sell it as if it were a different type of fish or a different type of catch. That's going to give me more flexibility to make more money. And lastly, you can choose to spend money to buy more boats and add them to your fleet. So I could spend 3 over here, and I'm going to add Usain Boat to my fleet. Now that I am done with all of this, we'll go to the end of the round, wherein you look at the tokens that are still in the open water and in the water part of your boat cards, and you're going to add tokens to the bag. So basically these have bread. They will produce 1 fewer token of that type. So 2 sardines produce 1, 2 scallops produce 1. These, along with all of the unused tokens here, will go back into the bag. And so you can actually produce more and more tokens into your bag by keeping things in the water part here and breeding more of them. That's important because the target of this game is that within, or of this month at least, within 7 rounds, and you've now seen 1 full round, you're going to want to try to earn $40 and maintain at least 4 of each of the types of sea life in the bag. You can play a more difficult scenario where you need to make 60, and at the end of the game you have to have at least 6 of each as to not have overfished. But now, starting on round 2, I will be able to pull out of the bag 3 times and assign them to these cards however I wish. So you go through and you'll do that, and you see if you meet the objective within 7 rounds. And as I mentioned, there are more challenges, adding more types of the sea life, including the octopus and the clams out here. Or you can introduce new mechanisms, change up the way that the market works, and that is going to be Conservas. I have enjoyed a lot of salt and pepper games that I have played, so obviously I went into this one with pretty high hopes. I think that Scott Alms does a lot of great games outside of the Tiny Epic stuff particularly. I tend to gravitate more towards those designs of his.
And he does a lot of games, too.
He does.
Yeah.
This is one, I'll just kind of out the bat say, I wish I liked this one a little bit more than I do.
And I agree with that, yes. It's a game that I found sounded neat, even if it has a weird bit of a boring theme, but it sounded neat. I liked the idea. I like the idea of sort of fishing. It's sort of it's a bag building, but not really. It's like a bag management kind of game. But yeah, I wish the game was a little bit more interesting. I wish it wasn't so fiddly. I wish it wasn't so black and white. It has this sort of feel of you either did well or you didn't. And it just doesn't quite have a nice build for me. I wasn't feeling things getting more interesting as each game went on. I thought it was annoying to have to dig in the bag and shake it all up and pull the things and arrange them. I many times, and I told you this, many times I found myself thinking, I wish this was an app. I just don't want to do this stuff. Physically is annoying.
There's a lot of tokens, right?
Yeah.
I kind of show them all off in the overview, and you start off, some scenarios with like 5 of each fish or something in there, and you and I think, kind of came to a similar conclusion where a lot of times your first 2, maybe 3 rounds, you want to let the breeding happen a lot so that you have a better pool to pick from. Otherwise, near the end of the game, you're just drawing water, and it's just miserable, right?
You can nuke the game.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a weird game in which the game is not shy about letting you basically, like, jump off a cliff. You can fully nuke it, whereby the 3rd round out of 6, you realize, oh, I'm done.
Right.
I can't win. I didn't understand the implications of something, and I'm done now. And maybe that's okay, because you'll learn your lesson. It's like... it's like a kid begging to bite into an onion, and it's like, no, you don't want to eat that. No, you don't want that. Okay, here, take a bite.
And I think that that's quite on purpose. I think it fits the theme and everything. I'm okay with a game that allows you to do that. I wish just the core loop of everything you're doing was a little bit more fun, a little bit more interesting. I like building up more boats in the fleet, but then at some point, it feels like I've got the game, or, oh boy, I nuked myself.
Right.
And so I find that, and going through the later months, I was like, okay, well, the core first game is pretty all right, and I'm hoping that each subsequent month gets more interesting. And I found that it only did a little bit. And then the restrictions started getting more overwhelming. Maybe not overwhelming, but more annoying than fun. Just very restrictive, but not necessarily like, ooh,
I don't
let
have
me
to
clever my way out of it.
That's it. You hit the nail on the head, right. Just because there are more restrictions doesn't mean I'm doing anything more clever. That's the issue. I'm not suddenly going, oh, this card that I had undervalued is suddenly incredibly important. Like, I didn't find that to be the case where I'm now solving a different puzzle. It's the same puzzle. I just have to sell these things in order now. Or I have to deal with the fact that, oh, the bag starts with a bunch of crap and only gets more water as the months go by, or as the days go by. Yeah, that's just sort of like a new way to punish you, but I'm still kind of doing the same things.
Yeah. So I think that nice production. I enjoy those. The ability cards that you can kind of spend, and that's kind of like the main binary splitting point. Do I sell things, or buy upgrades, or do I let the fish reproduce more?
Right.
And I think it's a little bit too straightforwardly binary for my tastes.
I do like the gameplay, the concept of you have ships and you have the water card, and every time you pull out 5, you need to decide how many you take, how many you leave. And so your combination of stuff you pulled denotes where you go. And as those things dry up, the last one might be a boat you have that says you need to fish 4 things and put 1 back in. And you're like, oh boy, it's my last card.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot. I like that. That is a nice amount of rising tension in that. That part is very clever. But there's a lot of stuff on top of that I didn't find to add to the fun. For example, I'll give you an example. One of the things you need to do in this game is sell a certain number of cans to make an amount of money. You buy boats. Cool. You also pay upkeep for them. Why? Is it like, are you valuing, if I have it earlier, it costs me more, and that, like, I guess so. Okay. Why do the things at the top cost me fish tokens? I'm buying a machine and it costs me 2 octopi. And it's like, okay, there's a couple of weird things in it that I guess are meant to obscure the economy in the game.
Sure.
To sort of like make it so I can't just very easily go, checkmate in 6, But they are not necessarily adding to, I'm going to puzzle the heck out of this thing, or I'm going to try a clever thing where I buy a boat and in 3 rounds sell it back. Can't do that. Can't sell the boats. There's also the fact that you can't check in the bag, right? As far as we know, you cannot look in that bag ever.
I looked in the rulebook multiple times. Maybe I missed it, right? But then one of the power cards says at the end of the round you can peek it up to 10 tokens in the bag. And you're like, wait a minute, I'm not allowed to look in there.
I can't be looking? Yeah, that means it's all trackable, really. Like if I have a scratch piece of paper, I know what's in the bag, but I can't look.
Right.
I don't like that memory thing. I don't like that memory element. There are fun aspects of this game. I like what's going on. I love the artwork. I made fun of the theme, but I actually think it's a cool, distinct theme.
I agree.
It's you have a fleet of ships. You are going out and fishing. You need to worry about not just what you pull out of there, but what you leave behind that breeds and populates the oceans. That's cool. I love that idea. There's a built-in mechanism that fills the bag with good stuff again. That's a clever concept. I think I just wish it was punching a little more. And the cyclical nature of the turns, with the pulling, mechanically, cool idea, kind of annoying. Just kind of physically annoying.
Like you said, when you have a fleet, though, of 3 ships plus the open waters card, and you draw out 5 tokens, you go, okay, this is a great decision point. Which ship do I assign them to?
Yeah.
But it's not enough to carry it past a lot of the other obstacles we're talking about.
Yeah, I think so.
Score-wise, final thoughts?
It's one, again, I feel like I'm coming down very hard on it in my explanation of the things I wish it had done, because I could see this being a really fun solo game. As it is right now, it's a serviceable solo game. I think it's okay. Honestly, you give me this in an app, I could see myself clicking away at this thing all day, because I like some of the things in it. In a mindless kind of way. I just don't want to interact with it that much, this physical product. For me, I'm coming down at a 6. It's like, it's scraping into a 6 for me.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. It's a 6, right? Like I said, when I first played it, I thought, this is fun. I enjoyed the loop of it and the preservation. And then I said, I want to see what more it does, hoping that it would move up from about a 6 to a higher score. But the later months didn't do that for me.
Right.
Which is a disappointment. It's a little deflating. But at the end of the day, I like enough of what's going on that I could pull it out and play it. Like you said, in a different form factor, especially digital, this would be neat.
I agree.
But as is, the way that is, it's unfortunately a 6 for me. It's serviceable. And but if you're really jazzed about this theme and everything,
right,
it's still, try it out.
Or if you
can,
love bag building games, like bag manipulation, statistics, then maybe you'll be a little more forgiving of the inherent fiddliness of reaching in there and shaking and counting and like seeding the bag at the beginning and separating everything at the end. That kind of fiddliness, you might be more forgiving of it than I am.
Right.
If you love that as a central core mechanism.
Yep. So there you go. That's our thoughts on Conservas from Scott Alm's Salt and Pepper Games. Thanks for joining us for this review here at the Dice Tower. My name's Chris.
I'm Z.
Hope that you all have fun with Usain Boat. Oof. That's in the game.
I know.
That's not me. Scott.
Oof.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another video from the Dice Tower. Hey, you want to learn more about us, communicate with us? We have a Facebook group, we have a Discord channel, lots of different ways to get involved with the Dice Tower. You can find that in our Linktree link below. So just click that, it will take you and you can communicate with us on Facebook, join our Facebook groups. There's lots of cool things that you can find and become part of the Dice Tower. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Tom Bassett.